Hello everyone, I'm Annie Gibbins and you're listening to Memoirs of Successful Women, the podcast where you get to hear candid conversations with fascinating women from around the globe who share aspects of their business and life journey, how they measure their success and what they have learnt along the way. Hello and welcome to Memoirs of Successful Women. Today I am introducing you to Hilda Johani, who is a self-made entrepreneur who started her early business life in Birmingham in the UK with the establishment of an accountancy business in 2007. So this lady has been going for quite some time. She created a company called HBBA, Certified Management Accountants, and continues to support to this day businesses with their statutory financial accounting reporting. We all need a woman like Hilda behind us because let's face it, most of us are glazing over as I'm announcing this. In 2015, Hilda then branched into healthcare, which interests me as a health educationalist, CEO, and established the HBBA Care, which is achieving outcomes of supporting young adults and children with learning difficulties in the community. And then she even thought maybe there's some more. So due to her passion in teaching and training, in 2016, she decided to establish HBBA Training Academy, which focuses on work based on the job training and delivery of higher level qualifications in the health and social care sector. And she's soon going to be having accountancy qualifications through this training academy. So she prides herself as a seasoned business consultant, financial and accounting expert. She's also an international speaker. And I got the delight of meeting Hilda, first of all, when we were on Lady America's Power Summit, and we have since then become besties. She's drawn all her experience gained throughout her career to just share with others. And so I'm really looking forward to our interview today. Welcome to my program, Hilda.
Wow, Annie, it was nice listening about all those things. Wow, this woman must be great.
She's pretty awesome. I've got a bit of a girl crush on her. She's certainly made accounting look sexy.
Oh, yes, definitely. I'm not your box standard accountant. I'm interesting. Not a boring accountant. Definitely.
No, don't be a boring accountant. Yes. Sorry to all the accountants out there. It's a really bad stereotype, right? Because it is an extremely important profession. And let's face it, everyone else in business, we need you. We need you behind us, making sure that all of our figures work, definitely to our advantage, but are 100% accurate, whatever the situation. So tell me about your situation. You juggled this around 3 kids as well. So what was it like? What was the moment that you suddenly, you were an accountant and then you went, I'm going to create my own business? And why did you do it in Birmingham? Were you born there, or is that the place that you were settled?
Right. I was born in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And I did all of my accounting training in Zimbabwe. I was trained at Coopers and Lybrand, which is now Ernst & Young. Yeah. And then I migrated to the United Kingdom in 2002. And literally, I picked Birmingham off a map. I didn't want to go to London because of all the associated problems I perceived and heard about. So I thought, I'll go to a nice, quiet place. And then I looked on the map. I remember taking out the map and I said, wow, let me have a look. Let me see Birmingham. And then I worked out, how do I get there? Okay, from Zimbabwe, I'll travel to South Africa. From South Africa, catch Air France, go to France, then go to Birmingham. After I arrive in Birmingham, I would stay 2 weeks at a hotel in Leamington Spa. And that's pretty much it. That's what I did.
Wow.
Because I remember coming out of the airport and I sat at the bus stop outside Birmingham Airport. And I said, now what?
Yeah, this is your life.
So then that's when it all started.
Yeah.
I came with a focus because I'd just gone through a major separation. I had a big wedding and it didn't even last a year. Wow. So I was quite devastated. So that was my push factor. My family supported me. My dad and my mom said, go to the United Kingdom. You can afford it. Have a breather, but leave your daughter behind. So that's my daughter, Kuzi. She's 23 now.
Oh.
So I kind of made that decision, but I waited for her to be 3 years old because I didn't want her to forget me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came, my mind was always in Zimbabwe. So
yes,
on my daughter. So I think that was my driver. So within 2 weeks, I kind of was helping, volunteering around, got myself enrolled in a college so I could work only 20 hours. But every penny I worked, I was putting it at home.
Yeah.
But the challenges I faced was that Zimbabwe, despite being colonized by a British economy, the education system is exactly the same.
Wow.
Right? Same textbooks, but they would not accept my accounting qualifications at that stage. So I had a vision and a goal to start from scratch.
Yeah.
So I was willing to do it. By the time I later settled down, after a couple of years, I was able to go to university and start my Bachelor of Accounting and Finance. But the first year was a breeze through because I had done the work.
Exactly.
So that was when I started my business. Because I had time, because being in the uni class was a revision for me.
Yes.
And then I thought, with 2 kids now, what was going to give me both a job and allow me to go to college? That means I had to start my own business because I needed something that I could control. So I used to go to the university. When I'm not at the university, I am in my small business doing my bookkeeping then, and then picking up the kids from school and juggling it. And that was it. And then in terms of getting first clients, and this is what maybe a lot of younger people don't realize, I literally, this is the first time I'm publicly saying it. So I joined a dance group. There was an advert that says bookkeeper required, and it was for a dance group, a dancing club. So of course I can't really dance. So I put a group together and put my name forward, and I coordinated them to dance. They were young people. So I was kind of feeling, why did these people never, think that, oh, I never danced? Because I couldn't dance as well as they do. But I put them forward. So it was worship, dance, and all that. I could pray, but I couldn't dance. And then I got to be a bookkeeper, and it was voluntary, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got to my next client, I took over a lady with 9 dry cleaners.
Wow.
She had 9 checkbooks. She could use any one. And my job was just running after her, but it was good ground.
Yeah.
So I was paid £10 an hour for that.
Yeah.
And then I started growing my portfolio that way. But I feel that if I never put myself forward to make a dance group, and then to get the bookkeeping role, I never would have started.
Oh, what a story. I'm just, wow, those listening in now, you just be like, wow. There's just so much in there. The most amazing thing is, one, sacrificial, to leave your child. That is just such a moment that we cannot imagine, cannot judge, cannot even comprehend. That moment that you go, it's so painful, but so worth it, because I need to make a better life for all of us, right? And many people in the world cannot even imagine that decision. And so my heart just goes out to you.
I know. We were separated for 2.5 years, because 2.5 years later, I got remarried to a Mr. Burke. So that's when I was still used to be Hilda Burke, bookkeeping and accounting. I was married for 10 years, but I managed to take her after 2.5 years.
Wow.
But in terms of the time it took for us to sort of like gel, because she always had the fear that I would go.
Exactly.
So she was always very close to me. So for about 2 years after that, it was a lot of time for healing. And, you know, I can relate to all these women, immigrant women, who have to make those decisions.
Yes.
To leave their child for a better life. You know, I supported her 100%, and she was, you know, well loved and by my parents. And, you know, but it was very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So we're very close with my daughter now. She's 23. And even in as much as I've expanded on the business platform, I absolutely couldn't do it without her.
Oh, so beautiful.
She is there to encourage me. She is there. You know, sometimes I felt, no, I don't want to be an accountant anymore. I'm packing it in here. And she always says, Mom, don't forget that it's the foundation. So you cannot leave the foundation. Never mind, my dad was an accountant as well. But, you know, my children, Kuzi, who's 23, Kuda Casey, who's 17, and Kaylin, who's 6, they are just a pillar of support. It's unbelievable that young people or such young lives can have such an outcome of me in public. I couldn't do it without them.
Oh, proud mum for sure, but also a testament to who you are and the way that you've raised them. And also what I'm hearing too is the openness and honesty that these are big decisions. These are not easy decisions. They're powerful decisions in real life, have real consequences, right? And they're not always, they're not easy, and they are challenging. And it's actually okay to say to your children why you're doing certain things. And obviously your daughter, you know, that's right. Even though you've got those early abandonment issues, and understandably so, but you can work through things. You can restore those relationships, understand the reasoning behind, and they're now super proud of who you are and who you have become, and that has had that effect of empowering them in their lives and raising the benchmark from where they start. And that's really important. We're all campaigning for that as women, empowering this next generation to start with a better circumstance. So well done you. I also love what you shared there about your choices, you know, the choices to, you know, I love it. So Richard Branson, fake it till you make it sort of thing of, I don't dance, but whatever's required, I'm going to throw it together. I'm going to make it happen. Right. And we do have to be creative. We do have to be tenacious, you know, that we have to try and work out situations to do something. And then you went and said it was even for a volunteer job. And I've had people who've knocked me back of, you know, of saying, I won't volunteer for you because I'm waiting for the main thing. And I still watch them like 18 months later, still waiting. And I go, you know what? I was exactly like you. I would volunteer. It's about positioning yourself. It's being in that environment, because when you're in the game, other things will happen, other opportunities, you know, when you lean into that. And that's obviously what you did when you've got that volunteer role. Then go and follow someone else, which must have been a nightmare. Herding cats.
Can be a dancer today.
Dry cleaners, like, oh my gosh. But that's real life too, isn't it? You know, they're not all a standard situation. It's skill building. And then so to have that moment a few years later that you then went, okay, I'm now going to really create, you know, a powerful business. You know, what was required there? Because you've now done your qualifications twice. No wonder you're such a good accountant.
Definitely.
Dedicated to then think, okay, well, I need to really play a higher game.
Well, you know, sometimes the things you go through, doing my qualification twice was not an altogether bad thing, because I didn't know that later I could do a teaching qualification, a postgraduate in education, and actually teach accounting.
Yes.
So how that happened was that from when I was working as an accountant and in the roles that I had, I was always the Nelly in the office. Sit with Nelly. If you want something shown, Hilda will show you. So in every role, I was always the person who they would ask to show people around. And then at university, I met two amazing young ladies. They were, because I think I was about 37 when I went to university. And these young girls were 18. Yeah. And they came to me and they said, you're always running, you know, after college, after uni, you don't go to the library. Where do you run to? Then I said, I've got a business. Then I was saying, oh, the kids and this. And then they came to me and they said, you know, we could buy your business off you. Then I saw something in these young ladies. So these young ladies started working with me from literally year 1 at university, year 2, year 3. So through these, I realized that if people get work experience early in life, they bounce off their careers, their accounting careers quicker than the person who went to uni, did 3 years of having a uni life, living it large, and never worked a day in their life. So that's when I evolved accounting work experience program. So by the time we all graduated, I actually trained 75 accounting graduates, and I even got a bigger a grant to do that. They were my classmates, equipping them for jobs. So that's where my passion for teaching and training grew. And then the other time in the office complex, you know, you have your office in the business. These guys came to me, says, we don't have an A-level accounting teacher. Hilda, you're it. You're the closest thing. You gotta go. You gotta go. I just went in there, filled in the shoes. And then I thought, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I might as well get the piece of paper. So immediately after my accounting degree, I enrolled for the postgraduate in education. And I did teaching for that bit. But by the time I finished my course, I was already offered a 30K salary. So the last 4 months of my course, I was already in a full-time job, and my qualification finished on the job. So I began to teach AAT accounting, set up colleges for other people, which is why I then set up HBBA Training Academy.
Yes.
So I taught for 5 years, and I said, I'm not coming out of teaching without anything I call my own. So that's how I established a training business. And then in the accounting business, I set up a lot of people who were starting healthcare businesses. 6 months later, they were doing better than me. Then I said, nah.
That's not good.
That's not good. I can do this. And that was the birthing of HBBA Care in 2015. And up till now, that has become a core business that we provide services for young adults. And we've just been approved for children now with learning difficulties. And in my personal development, when you're teaching accounting students, you are saying, we want A's and B's, English and maths. Along came these people from the care sector, wonderful people. If I achieve an outcome of helping them make their breakfast,
yes,
making their bed, putting on their clothes the right way, can you see the two platforms? So for me, in terms of personal fulfillment and gratification, I'm getting it all.
Wow.
I've got my high flyers in the apprenticeships in the office. They're the ones who run the accountancy business. It's actually the accounting apprentices who run my accountancy business.
Okay.
I supervise, I mentor.
Yeah.
So I'm not hands-on, so I've got time.
Yeah.
But with these ones, there is care staff who live with them on a day-to-day basis. We have meetings, we have one-to-ones, we do things together. We get involved with the families, but I still remain very visible to them because I don't ever want to be a super boss who doesn't know the person on the ground, because it's those people who make a difference in my business.
Wow.
So
and
that's me
they are your
nutshell.
part, and they need to see you more because you're there, you're
yeah.
the rock, right? Whereas others are in a program, they trust the brand, you know, so you can have a different teacher. They still love to be taught by the owner, you know, like everybody usually does. But I think it is, from my background, I can imagine this when I was an aged care teacher, a similar journey. I went into nursing and then became a teacher. And that same sort of pride of you're actually changing people's life at a very basic level.
It's about impact.
It's really impactful, you know, and I used to say that to my family. I go, you know what, some of the people who had a certificate 3 qualification, they were the first person in their family who'd ever had a qualification. It was actually more powerful than the ones who were doing a cert for a diploma or even a degree, because that was expected of them. It was really quite amazing the way it hits you emotionally. And I think you've got to have that right nature. You go, I really value that. You can see that, and they will see that in you. Wow.
Excellent.
That is
Wonderful.
beautiful. So you went into healthcare once again by default, really, because, you know, you started doing accounting for healthcare and they ended up making more money. So you did it and then you found you loved it.
Yeah.
And then now you then went, oh my gosh, okay, well, I'm now an educator. I'm a teacher. I can actually set up a training arm as well. Right?
Yes,
So
definitely.
you've now got HPBA training. And then, so what is it required there for you to become? I'm assuming it's going to be similar to what we've got in Australia, that you have to become an accredited training provider and meet certain benchmarks. It's actually quite a big deal, right?
Yes. So HPBA Training Academy is accredited by Highfield Qualifications. So that is the platform that we deliver level 2, level 3, and level 5 qualifications in health and social. So we are working on accreditation for the AAT qualification, which is the accounting qualification, but the criteria is a little bit difficult to achieve. But we are going to introduce a program with, we're going to be working with Solihull College, and we're going to be working with level 2 AAT students. And we are exposing them to mentorship and work experience opportunities. And we've got a target of training 52 learners per year.
Yeah.
And we are introducing that by my upskilling the existing staff for those who are interested to go into training and mentorship. And we are putting together the program. We're going to do a press release about it in the next couple of weeks. But the point is, we are saying that box standard qualifications are not suiting the business requirements in the market, because schools and colleges are producing academics.
Yeah.
So my passion is in work-based training, because I want to bring the theory and the practical aspect together into an environment. Yeah. So I have a vision to create for accounting a platform whereby people can marry the two. Because I discovered that through working with the university graduates, they didn't have a clue of bookkeeping because it's not being taught at university.
Yeah.
You see, so this is why we're trying to get off the ground with this, and it's working because we've got people that we've evidenced that we can do it. So now we want to take it higher, even globally.
I love that. I love that, because that's right. There's so many qualifications that, you know, you understand the theoretical, but you don't have that's right, the baseline, or it's not relevant to the actual work, right? So when you do skill-based training and you've got a strong connection to industry particularly, you'd end up getting a qualification that should actually map. What I do at work is what I learn, and I'm putting it all together. Whereas sometimes you get that higher level qualification, but it doesn't actually relate to your day job, or there's parts in that day job that you're supposed to be the senior expert, but you don't actually understand example bookkeeping when you're an accountant. That's a problem. Right? That is a big problem. It is a big problem. Yeah.
But you see, with present day qualifications, they're not exactly gelling the two. And hopefully, when I've got absolutely nothing else to do, you know, we want to look at programs that can incorporate as much as a program. I took part in a Trailblazer program with, I can't recall the name of the institute, but they were trying to introduce like degree qualification, like, you know, the bridge between a degree and a practical. So yes, the work has gone in, but it hasn't actually been rolled out. But we did take part in that program in the sense of we're trying to shape what is an industry and trying to match with qualifications. What are we coming up with? So, you know, I'm going to keep my eyes open for that and see if that's the fix that we need. But other than that, I'm very passionate about things like that, and I want to develop more in those sort of areas as well.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, you've done a real switch then. You've gone from this woman who's grown a career as an accountant behind the brand of HPBA, and you've gone and run all these different companies and developed according to your interest, your need, your necessity, a whole lot of combination things. And then suddenly I've met you at the Lady America Power Summit, where we're just we're personal branded, right? So my business is anniegibbins.com. You know, I am a personal brand behind what I do. What has made you then suddenly go, okay, well, Hilda Johani is the brand, you know, distinct from the HPBA group? That's a huge movement, right? A big shift for you. It certainly was for me when I then decided, because my business is called Lipstick Consulting, and I moved, it's still my business, but I moved away from that. What was happening?
Well, it's interesting that you've gone through the same sort of thought process. But if I backtrack a couple of years back into my high school years, we were taught public speaking at school. And for all my years at high school, I was winning competitions with public speaking. So I've always had the gift of the gab.
Yeah.
So now, because I was running so many things, at first in the early years of my career, I didn't quite understand what I was doing, who I am. And, you know, people can be critical. And then the concept of entrepreneur came. That's when there was a light bulb moment to say, that's what I must be, an entrepreneur. So it was all right to say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, so long as there was a balance. But what I found the challenge was, I've always felt I was riding on 3 horses. And, you know, no matter how much you can control them, it's difficult. So that's when I came to say, you know what, all under one roof. I'm now branding myself as hildajohani.com. And what I am offering is off the back of the experience of all these qualifications, all these experiences, to say, you know what, if you're going to have me sit in front of you to give you business advice, to work on your books, you understand the basis where I'm coming from. And you will feel comfortable, because at the end of the day, I've also got the track history to prove. Because in training, besides the mandatory or statutory qualifications, I like to write my own trainings, my own courses. So in 2018, I started monthly business startup courses in the healthcare sector. So now I'm actually regarded as somebody they can ask advice, you know. So I do these monthly trainings, helping people to get started the right way, more cost effective. Don't waste money like we did. We went into brick walls. So everything is incorporated into my 4-week training program. And by the end of 4 weeks, I'm expecting to see a viable company registered. I'm expecting to see a bank account open. I'm expecting to have tools in place to say you're ready to go and you're looking for your first contract. So that's what we do.
Oh, that is so empowering. I absolutely love it. And I salute you for doing that, because it's so important. And most of the time they just need someone to believe in them, right? They need to be mentored. They need to be shown the skills and the requirements, but they actually need the belief, right? Because so many people are told it won't work, don't try it, it will fail, all those. And then suddenly someone like you comes and says, you know what, you know, if you do these steps and you're supported, it will be successful. You have to work hard. You know, it's not going to just automatically happen. And your track record shows that. Yes, you have to be tenacious. You have to put yourself out there. But I absolutely honor you for that. And also that you've taken such a hands-on personal approach to all that you do. And I think that's your X factor, right? That you've, you know, people see now that it's appropriate that it's merged into that you are now, you know, you are the brand behind, you know, the group, if you like.
Yes,
you know,
definitely.
And also not are you behind it, you're actually, you know, at the head of it. So you're the mechanics behind what has been achieved, but you're actually, you know, leading by example and taking people on that journey with you. So how has your life changed then since you've become personal branded and you've got your own website and you've got your now speaking at summits? You obviously love it because you look so happy. What has it actually done for you personally and then professionally?
Personally, as I'm a passionate learner, and I'm like a sponge. I take in things. There's a lot of stuff I've had to learn in the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, especially on social media. I'm not there yet, but obviously, you know, working with women like yourself who have been out there longer is very, very helpful as well. But it's been a steep learning curve, and I think I am still yet to learn more. in terms of presence, but in terms of my personal perception, I've become more confident. We had an event last week on the 4th of December, where for the first time I felt to bring all my services together, bring all clients, bring all service users, bring all stakeholders, and just treat them to a dinner of 100 people to say thank you. But out of that, you know, beyond my expectation for the night, I can't get over how many nice things were said about me. I kept pinching myself thinking, am I dead? Am I dead? Because, you know, these are the kind of things you hear at a funeral.
It's like a eulogy, but you're there.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
You know, I just wanted maybe my special needs people to wear their bow ties and their nice suits, to have something to prepare to go out for the night. I wanted my accounting clients to just meet up. You know, some of them, I've been working for them for about 4 years. We've never met. We've been working online, but it was nice to just have a feel, and especially with the lockdown, you know, that took off nearly 18 months now of opportunities where we could have met with clients, right? But that night was just a night when, you know, there was so much good networking. I could relive that night over and over again. So it's just my opportunity to say thank you to everybody out there who's ever done anything for HBBA Group and for myself.
Congratulations. What a moment. What a moment. It's and even more meaningful when we've all been locked down for so long that you actually just feel the physical, you know, connections and the value that you've added to those people's lives. I mean, that's priceless, right? When you're an educator, is when you can actually, it's palpable, you know, it's not just, oh, thank you for my teacher. You actually feel the weight of thank you for helping me change my life, right? Because then it will have ongoing opportunities.
Yes, I love to track my students and find out what they're doing. And, you know, when you look at some of them on LinkedIn, senior accountant, audit manager, I always said to them in the class, I will be 80 and I want to still know what everybody is doing. And I will be ever so proud. You know, I've got another young man who is attached to the Ghana High Commission. And the journey started through that mentoring accounting program. And he's such an upright man with his own family now. And I said, oh, wow, you used to give me such problems in the class. I had somebody, he's based in Malaysia now, and he sent me a message on LinkedIn. And he said, oh, Hilda, I'm ever so sorry. I used to mess about. Then I said, you know what? For where you are now, you got there. And to me, that is the most important. So I am very passionate about the people who have passed through my hands.
Oh, that is gorgeous. We all know it does take a village sometimes.
I know, it's crazy. I could tell you stories.
Oh, that's right. I think we've all got stories, and too funny. So if you look back now and you were that young woman who just picked Birmingham on a map, would you have made any different decisions, different choices, or do you feel now that your journey was what you needed to go through? Were there choices that you didn't take? Were there choices that you made that you could have done differently?
Wow, I am a product of wrong decisions, wrong moves. And what I wished was there was some kind of networking of mentorship. Direction. Because when I came to the United Kingdom, I remember when I was thinking of opening a business in Canada, and I attended this session at PricewaterhouseCoopers that said, doing business in Canada, doing business in the States. That workshop took me through cultures and stuff I need to be aware of if I was going to work in that environment. When we came to the United Kingdom, nobody gave us that mentoring. I felt that because I just picked up my bag, got on a plane. I was all on my own. So my journey was more of hitting brick walls, but because I'm a kind of person that if I hit a brick wall, I bounce back. I don't crash.
Yeah.
I bounce.
You're resilient.
And I take a step back. Yeah. And then I say, okay, I should have gone round it. And I go round it. But then the journey to go round sometimes takes a long time. And I lost time. But in all things, because I did all types of work, factory work, I did all that. But now if I look at my client base, I understand businesses, back offices. Yeah. Because I've probably been there. Yeah. You know, so I feel that I'm more effectively able to support my clients. But in all things, it's been part of my learning journey. And I think I can say I've done well, considering, you know, but now it's about making sure I'm in the right networks, right community, right people around me, so I can quickly eliminate anything out of my life that I can see this is going to be a hindrance. So I'm good at that now. So I'm cutting off, I'm chopping off. Yeah, well done. Because sometimes you have a lot of excess baggage. Yes. Even in business. Yeah. But now I've realized that, you know, to get to where I need to get to, I've got to cut off, stream, and focus and work with probably a few individuals who are going to be helping me to get where I need to do. Because they say you are 6 steps or 6 people away from your next breakthrough. So I want to make sure I choose my 6 properly. Wow. I love That's my objective in the next, for 2022. Yeah. Choose my 6 well, and I'll get there. You sure will. I have no doubt about that. What does getting there mean? What does success look for you at that next step? What are you striving for? I have realized that what drives me is not money. Because, you know, once you get to a certain level of, I'm not rich by all means. I have enough, right? But it's more the passion and the drive to do something. Because we've got our core businesses. I've got my core business, which is my bread and butter. Anything I do on top is a plus. Yes. But then in terms of increase of philanthropy, increase of mentorship, increase of putting into people. Like my daughter, she's training as a social worker. She's in her 3rd year. She's always had a passion for having children's homes. So now I would like to mentor her. We don't have children's homes at the moment, but we can work that journey together as I'm learning and mentoring, because that's her passion. Yes. Her social work is focused on children. So that is what I want to be doing, impacting more on my children's life as well as other people, women especially, marginalized communities. I went to Dubai between the 20th of November and the 26th, and it was a conference for Middle East women and African women. And I realized that within our African communities, there's still a lot of cultural barriers that we have to fight through. Yes, in the West, we're fighting for leadership. We're fighting for, you know, to be on the same platform as our counterparts. But you'd find that in certain communities, we are fighting against cultural barriers, negative perceptions. The fact that I'm divorced, single parent, right? In some communities, I am considered an outcast, not good enough. So you see, people like myself, that also becomes my driver, because I have to prove to say, you know what? And, you know, people want to say, oh, because these kids are being raised by a sole parent, they will come out like this, like this. I will prove them wrong. Yeah. You know, it's not about that. So there is all sorts of barriers, you know, for us as women, whether we are women of color, of culture, and depending on where we're coming from. But being on international platforms and meeting with women like yourself, we do have common barriers. We do have baselines, common denominators. And I think only when we are bringing our minds together, we can be part of the solution that needs to be out there for us as women to thrive in business.
Exactly. Beautifully said. And that's what I love about the collaborations that we're having and the opportunities that we're given. And I could just see this picture while you were sharing there of, you're the person who is meeting someone when they arrive at a place like Birmingham and they've got their bags packed and nothing else, and they're looking for some support, and they're looking for someone to believe in them and to show them the way, or to equip them, to educate them, to connect them. You're filling that void that you would have absolutely loved and you didn't receive it. And so now you're like, you know what, I'm that person. I'm qualified to do that. I've had that experience. I've had that lived experience. I've done the journey. In fact, I've done 10 journeys by the sound of things. And because of that, because you've used, in a way, you've used your wounds to be your superpower in a really great way. And it is incredible that you have now positioned yourself so well that exactly you can spend your time. I think, like me, as you get older, that's right. You feel like, I understand that, just removing the excess, removing the waste, because you suddenly realize, time is short. You want to make the most of it, be as effective as you can be, and you don't have time to waste on other times of your life. It's part of your journey. You don't need that now. You need to go.
That's right.
I'm positioning myself with these six, whoever these six are, for the reasons that are important for me. But it's not just for you. It's because you now are the mother figure of so many. You're representing them as the mentor, and it's an honor to be in that position. So therefore, it is essential that you position yourself the way that you are. What a delight. What a great place to be. So thank you so much. Oh my gosh, we could talk all day, but time is fleeting now for us. What would you say to those people coming through, doing their studies, following their path? Would you encourage them to get that job while they're training and learn on the job? Would you encourage them to, stay at uni and wait till you're qualified and then sort of pick the more professional considering your experience, what's your advice to people coming through on that journey, whether they're becoming a bookkeeper or an accountant or not too sure, as an educationist, how would you encourage them? Should they be working in bars part-time, or should they actually pick up that role like you did, even if it's, doing something voluntarily to actually give them the edge?
I think first and foremost, anybody in education or training, number one, get yourself a job. It doesn't matter what it is. Whether you're going to work at McDonald's, whether you're going to do something else, but it's important you go through that process of showing up somewhere. So that's the first thing. So that job is going to be your bread and butter. You're going around. Then you can now afford a voluntary role.
Yeah.
Apply yourself because you have time. As you get to my age, you then try to harness time. Uni students, college students have got a lot of time. And they kill it and they waste it. Harness your time, because there's enough organizations that will take you on as a volunteer, right? But you don't have to volunteer for 4 years or a year. No, it's just for a little bit.
Exactly. Yes.
In that company, when you're volunteering, be honest to say, I want to learn, I want to do this, I want to do that. And if they don't want to progress you, go somewhere else and volunteer at the next level.
Yeah.
So that by the time you finish your qualification and learning, you can actually put together a CV that is marketable. I taught a maths perfectionist once. He had a first-class degree in maths, right? Came for an accounting qualification because he couldn't make any mistakes. So there is a program that we use in accounting called SAGE. The ones who benefit from SAGE are the ones who make the mistakes. Because in making the mistakes, you have to fix it.
Yes.
So this guy was a perfectionist. He made no mistakes. He got it right first time. So he actually couldn't get as much from it than my good old average student who's making all the mistakes and it's all a mess and saying, you know what, Hilda, I think we're going to have to start all over again here. I've completely made a mess of it. So you need those opportunities to be able to make mistakes and to learn from that, so that by the time you get your first official job, right, you're actually worthy of that wage you think you're entitled to because you've got a first-class degree. I said I would take someone with experience on a lower qualification level anytime compared to someone with a first-class degree but doesn't even know how to type a letter on a Word document. So this is the reality of what we are looking for as employers. We're looking for people with the brains and practical application, because your piece of paper is as good as it is until you learn to apply yourself. So go out there and do something. That's my advice.
Oh, that is a gem. Those listening in, we're finished with a gem. Absolutely, 100% support you in that. That's right. Knowledge without application is only valuable to yourself. It doesn't help anyone else in the world, really, unless you can apply it and make it relevant. And so we can chat for hours against, the dangers of those perfectionists listening in going, but I'm a perfectionist. I'm regularly talking about this on my program. Just try and be kinder to yourself, because that's it. If you have a view that I never make a mistake, the time that you do, you actually can't unpack it. You don't know what to do. You don't know the rationales behind all of that learning. It's a good thing. And when you do that, you will continue to springboard. And also the quality as employers that we're surfacing, not only, it helps your future employability, it's showing that those people have initiative. If someone comes and says, I'm willing, one of my best colleagues at the moment came to me and said, I'll volunteer for you for, 2 or 3 days a week. And within 3 months, not surprisingly, I gave her a job. She was amazing, but she'd show up. She was passionate. She's learning the skills and she was doing it. And I'm like, I would employ again and again someone like that.
That's right.
Someone else who has the qual but goes, no, but I haven't applied it yet because I'm waiting for the dream job. It's kind of like, wow, there's so much to learn in there. Wow. Well, you are just a superstar and now a gorgeous friend of mine. It's been such a delight having you on my show. Tell everybody again, how do they contact you? I will put it on my platform, but tell us from your words.
Right. You can visit www.hildajohani.com. And through that website, contact me. I've got a diary. Just book yourself in and let's have a chat for half an hour and find out what you're on about. And let's take the next move to what you're supposed to be.
Exactly. So if that's you, if our conversation has resonated with you today and you're like, you know what, that's right, you don't have to be in Birmingham. Obviously, everyone's global these days. So just reach out to Hilda. I will have her details on my YouTube platform, my podcast platform, and on my website, everywhere this show is broadcast. And that's right. If it's something that I'm a bookkeeper looking to get into accounting. I'm actually an accountant looking to do a role. I'm interested in healthcare. I'm interested in training. I'm interested in getting mentored by someone who has just got so much heart and passion behind, or even just want to talk about your journey and let Hilda unpack it for you, right? Sometimes we don't even know. Definitely reach out to her. She is just worth her weight in gold. Thank you for being on my program today.
Thank you so much, Annie. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Memoirs of Successful Women. You can find me at anniegibbins.com, where you can download my free resources, get connected on social, and check out my online magic transformation program. If you love this show, feel free to subscribe to future episodes and, of course, share it with your friends. I'll see you again soon, and until then, happy podcasting.